Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. The evening had settled quietly around me, the dim light of the living room casting long shadows across the floor. Alex, my wife of 5 years, was upstairs, supposedly soaking in a bubble bath after a long day. I lounged on the couch, flicking through TV channels, trying to find something that could hold my attention. That's when my phone buzzed with a new message that jolted my heart with its simplicity yet earth-shattering implication. Miss you, my love. I want to repeat our hot night. My brows furrowed in confusion. Alex was just upstairs. A chill ran down my spine as I read and reread the message, each word slicing through the quiet comfort of our home like a sharp knife. The sender? Alex. A mixture of disbelief and curiosity propelled me off the couch. I replied, keeping my tone neutral, hoping to unearth more. What night are you thinking about? Her response came quickly, too quickly for someone supposedly unwinding in the tub. Last Thursday. You were amazing, babe. Can't stop thinking about it. Last Thursday, I was at a business seminar, my alibi as solid as the granite countertops in our kitchen. There was no question now. She wasn't alone that night, and it wasn't me she was missing. I felt a visceral punch of betrayal. The air seemed to thicken around me, heavy with the weight of her deceit. Climbing the stairs, my steps were silent but my mind was loud with the chaos of her treachery. I paused outside the bathroom door, hearing the gentle splashes of water and her hums that seemed too carefree for someone who had just shattered our vows. Softly, almost too softly, I knocked. Alex, can we talk? Just a minute, she called back, her voice light and airy. That minute stretched, every second elongating with my rising fury. When she emerged, wrapped in a towel, her hair slicked back, the air between us crackled with my unspoken knowledge. She smiled, that warm, familiar curve of her lips that I had fallen in love with. What's up? She asked, oblivious to the storm brewing in me. I held up my phone, showing her the message. Her face fell, the color draining as she realized her mistake. Oh God, I can explain. But I wasn't interested in excuses. Not anymore. The trust was broken, the damage irrevocable. Save it, I snapped, my voice colder than I intended. Who is he, Alex? The silence that followed was deafening. She opened her mouth, then closed it, her struggle visible. Her betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was a meticulously constructed deceit. In the days that followed, my rage formed a plan, cold and calculated. I contacted a lawyer, gathered evidence of her infidelity, and prepared for a divorce that would leave no room for her pleas. She begged for forgiveness, cried for another chance, but my heart had turned to stone. I watched as the life we had built crumbled under the weight of her choices. Our friends sided with me, her family expressed their disappointment, and she was left to face the consequences of her actions alone. As I signed the last divorce paper, the finality of our separation sank in. I felt a hollow victory. I had ruined her life as she had destroyed our marriage, but there was no joy in it, only a deep, lingering ache. And so, we parted ways, forever altered by the betrayal that echoed through the empty chambers of my heart. The story of us was over, but the intrigue of her deceit promised more revelations in the chapters to come. The morning after the revelation was crisp and unusually clear, as if the world outside was oblivious to the storm raging within the confines of our now fractured home. My mind was a whirlpool of plans and possibilities, each more drastic than the last. I couldn't stay still, the energy of betrayal propelling me forward into action. I started the day with a phone call to a private investigator. I need everything you can find on Alex's lover, I stated, my voice steady, my resolve firm. Photos, texts, meetings. I want it all. Understood, the investigator replied, his voice a calm contrast to the storm inside me. I'll get on it right away. With the wheels set in motion, I drove to Alex's favorite cafe, a place where she spent many afternoons working. As I parked, my phone buzzed with a new message from Alex, her tone desperate. "Can we talk? Please, I'm sorry." I ignored her message, my focus laser-sharp on the task at hand. Inside the cafe, the smell of coffee and baked goods did little to calm my nerves. I scanned the room and found her sitting in the corner, her laptop open but her eyes red and swollen from crying. "Alex," I said, approaching her. Her head snapped up, a flicker of hope in her eyes quickly dashed by the coldness in mine. "Please, let me explain," she pleaded, standing to meet me. Her voice trembled, but I was unmoved. "Explain what? That you mistook me for him? Or that you've been lying to me for who knows how long?" My voice was louder than intended, drawing curious glances from other patrons. She flinched, her face crumpling. "It was a mistake. I was going to end it. I love you." "A mistake?" I scoffed, anger bubbling over. "Is that what you call it?" I leaned closer, my tone venomous. "You don't get to use love as your excuse." Tears streamed down her cheeks, her usual composure shattered. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I don't want to lose you." "You already have," I said flatly. The finality in my voice seemed to break something in her. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Without another word, I turned and left her there, sobbing among the smell of coffee and pastries. My heart pounded as I walked back to my car, the weight of my decision settling in. I had drawn the line, there was no going back. Back home, I sifted through our shared accounts and assets, my actions meticulous and calculated. I froze our joint accounts, redirected my paychecks, and started the division of our assets. Every action was a nail in the coffin of our marriage. Late in the afternoon, the investigator called. "I have some information," he said. "The other man, he's not just anybody. He's a coworker of hers." The news hit me like a blow. Not just a stranger, but someone from her everyday life. The betrayal was deeper, more entangled than I had imagined. "I'll send over the evidence," the investigator promised. "You'll have it all by tomorrow." "Thank you," I replied, my mind already racing with the implications. This was more than a fling, it was an affair that crossed into the very sanctum of her professional life. That night, as I lay in bed alone, the house eerily silent, I plotted my next moves. The divorce would be messy, that much was clear. But more than that, I needed retribution. Not just to separate our lives but to ensure she understood the depth of the pain she caused. As the moon cast its pale light through the window, my thoughts were dark. The intrigue of Alex's betrayal had only just begun to unravel, and I was ready to see it through to its bitter end. The next day dawned with a sense of purpose that had been foreign to me since the revelation of Alex's betrayal. The crisp morning air felt charged as I prepared for the confrontation that was inevitable. Today, I would confront not just Alex but also the man who had invaded my life, stolen moments that were meant to be mine. Before noon, the private investigator sent over the promised evidence. It was all there, photos, text messages, even video footage from a security camera of Alex and her coworker, laughing together as they entered a hotel that was too upscale for a simple business meeting. My hands trembled with a mix of rage and cold resolve as I organized the evidence, each piece a testament to her deceit. Armed with a folder thick with betrayal, I drove to her office. The once familiar route now seemed like the path to a battlefield. My heart pounded not just with the hurt of betrayal but with the adrenaline of impending confrontation. As I walked into the lobby of the sleek office building, my presence commanded attention. The receptionist gave me a wary look as I approached, her smile faltering when she saw the grim determination on my face. "I need to see Alex and her manager." "Now," I demanded, my voice low but firm. I'm not sure if they're available," the receptionist stammered, reaching nervously for her phone. "They'll want to see me," I assured her, my tone leaving no room for argument. It's urgent. Moments later, Alex appeared, her face pale, eyes wide with shock. Behind her was a man I recognized from the photos, the other Alex. He looked from me to her, confusion etched across his features. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice cautious. I slammed the folder onto the manager's desk, the sound echoing in the tense air. "You tell me," I said, glaring at both of them. "Or should we let the evidence speak for itself?" Alex reached for the folder, her hands shaking as she flipped through the contents. Her lover's face drained of color as he peered over her shoulder. "This isn't what it looks like," Alex tried, her voice a mere whisper. "It looks like an affair. Feels like betrayal. Sounds like the end of our marriage," I retorted sharply, each word slicing through the facade she had maintained. Her coworker started to speak. "I didn't know." "You knew she was married," I cut him off, my gaze icy. "Don't insult me further." The manager, a stern woman in her 40s, had been silent up until now. She stepped forward, her expression grave. "This is a serious accusation. If this is true, it has implications beyond your personal issues." "It is true," I affirmed, my resolve as hard as the evidence in front of us. "And I expect you to handle it accordingly." The room fell silent, the only sound the soft hum of the air conditioning. Alex's eyes were filled with tears, her composure crumbling under the weight of her choices. Her lover looked away, unable to meet my gaze. "I'll handle this," the manager assured me, her tone implying that the repercussions would extend beyond just a marital dispute. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention." As I turned to leave, Alex reached out, her voice breaking as she spoke. "Please, can we talk about this?" I stopped but didn't turn to face her. "There's nothing left to say," I said, the finality in my voice echoing in the quiet office. Walking out of the building, the burden of the past few days felt lighter, even as the emotional toll clung tightly. The sky was overcast, the sun hidden, much like the truth had been. But now, with everything laid bare, the path forward was clear, even if it was paved with the remnants of our broken relationship. As I drove away, the pieces of my new life began to assemble in my mind. Retribution had been delivered, but the journey of healing was just beginning. The plot of Alex's deceit might have been unraveled, but my story was far from over. The following days blurred into a singular, relentless pursuit of justice and retribution. My resolve had hardened, transformed from the molten anger of betrayal into the cold, unyielding steel of revenge. With every step, I dismantled the life Alex had known, ensuring that her actions led to irrevocable consequences. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city, I stood outside the gallery where Alex was hosting an important exhibition. Her career as an artist was on the brink of a significant breakthrough, a culmination of years of hard work, most of it at my expense. Tonight, her world would crumble just as mine had. I walked into the gallery, my presence unnoticed among the crowd of art enthusiasts. The walls were adorned with her work, each piece a stark reminder of the lies that permeated our marriage. I moved through the crowd, a predator in the brush, until I found my mark, a well-known art critic who had the power to make or break careers. "Excuse me," I began, my voice calm but carrying an undercurrent of urgency. "There's something you should know about the artist, Alex." The critic turned, interest piqued. "Oh. And what's that?" I leaned in, my words laced with venom disguised as concern. "She's been using stolen designs. Some of the pieces you see tonight are not entirely her creations." The allegation was enough to sow a seed of doubt, the first domino in a series set to topple. As the critic excused himself to make a call, I watched Alex from across the room, blissfully unaware of the storm approaching. Next, I approached the gallery owner, a stern woman with a reputation for integrity. "I regret to inform you, but it seems Alex has been dishonest about her work." The owner's eyes narrowed. "What proof do you have?" "Check her studio." You'll find sketches and emails from other artists she's been consulting under the guise of collaboration, but really, it was appropriation. The owner hesitated, then nodded, her decision made. Thank you for telling me. I'll handle this discreetly. But discretion was not on tonight's agenda. As the exhibition wound down, the atmosphere shifted palpably. Whispers spread through the crowd, the art critic returned with a grim expression, and the gallery owner approached Alex, pulling her aside. I watched from a distance as their conversation grew heated. Alex's face turned pale, her body language shifting from confident to defensive. The gallery owner gestured emphatically towards the door, her final words ejecting Alex from what was supposed to be her triumph. Outside, Alex confronted me, her eyes wild with betrayal and fear. Why are you doing this? How could you? Like you said, it was all a mistake, I replied coldly, the echo of her own words cutting through the night air. You made your choice, and now you live with it. But I loved you, she protested, her voice breaking. You loved a lie, I said, turning to leave. Goodbye, Alex. As I walked away, the final piece of my plan unfolded. Behind me, the gallery lights flickered off, the exhibition closed prematurely, and Alex's reputation began its freefall into oblivion. Months later, the divorce was a mere formality, a quiet end to a public spectacle. Alex's career never recovered, her name synonymous with deceit both personal and professional. As for me, the emptiness of revenge lingered, a hollow victory that cost more than I'd anticipated. Yet, as I stared out over the city from my new apartment, a sense of peace settled within me. The deception was over, the traitors punished, and the chapters of my old life closed forever. In the darkness, I plotted a new beginning, one built not on the ruins of the past but on the lessons learned from its ashes.